can shut me up after the class. So the first thing we are going to look at is what is SPSS. As we already know, SPSS stands for Statistical Package for Social and Management Sciences. So it is a statistical packages. It's a statistical package that is especially designed for research in social and management sciences, and including education. It is not limited to social and management sciences. It also covers education. And the reason why they use this package in education and social and management science research is that majorly, most of their research involve questionnaire. And SPSS is so designed to help present information in questionnaire. It easily helps in the presentation of information in the questionnaire. So that is its suitability. It is very suitable to present information that you gather through questionnaire, through survey, through interview. You can present the information in questionnaire. And since most of the research that are conducted in social and management sciences or social sciences generally involve questionnaire, research that are conducted in education involve questionnaire. Research, there are also some research that are conducted in economics, conducted in economics, conducted in banking and finance, and other, even sciences. Some of their research can involve questionnaire. So any research whatsoever that involve questionnaire or interview, you can actually analyze it with the aid of SPSS. Hello. We have encouraged all participants to please mute themselves. So I will be forced now to mute everybody. I will be forced to mute everybody except the moderator and the lady that is participating very well in the class. So I will be forced. So I will give a second chance now. So I want a decorum in the class, please, so that we can enjoy the class. Thank you. So as I've said earlier on, SPSS is specially built to capture responses that are presented or that are gathered through the aid of questionnaire. So don't forget, I've said earlier on that we have to analyze data. Whether you are in social sciences, whether you are in education, you have to be able to solve social problems. You have to be able to solve educational problems. And you cannot do that without using data. You cannot use guess. As somebody that is grounded in science, we always avoid guessing. So we have to do our planning with the aid of data, with the aid of facts and information. So that is the purpose of data analysis. So as I've said earlier on, in the past decade, there were no packages to analyze data. What people do is just to use their hand to plot X on Y, Y on X, and to arrive at regression correlation. So these are the analyses that people are doing in the past. But with the aid of all this software now, you can actually analyze complex information that covers more than 2 variables. So one of the packages that is used in this essence, in this aspect, is SPSS. So and I've explained that SPSS is specially designed to capture cross-sectional data. It is specially designed to capture what? Cross-sectional data. That is the data you go to the field to to collect at a point in time. The data you go to the field to collect at a point in time. In most cases, you have used questionnaire or you have conducted an interview. So here, I wrote here that it analyzes data mainly gathered through questionnaire or interview. The package is at times, but very rarely, used in the analysis of time series data, especially for regression, correlation, and SEM. So, although apart from cross-sectional data, SPSS can analyze time series data. It can run regression, it can run correlation, but it is not suitable for that purpose. It is not preferred for those purposes. It is preferred for any analysis that involve questionnaire and interview. So I move further. So how do we use SPSS? What are the basic process involved? So we assume that you have a questionnaire that is already designed. You have a questionnaire that's already approved by your supervisor. So the scope of this training does not cover how to design the questionnaire. We may cover that later, but our coverage assumes that you already have a well-designed questionnaire duly approved by your supervisor. So then, and your supervisor has instructed you to go and present your analysis. So what are you going to do? What are the process involved? The first thing you need to do is to code the data. Is to code your questionnaire. That is the first thing you need to do. So, and we are going to demonstrate that. We are going to demonstrate that in SPSS. How to code the data. That is the first thing you need to do. So, firstly, I'm going to present to you a questionnaire, a short questionnaire. I will present to you. So I'm going to share the screen now. I'm going to share the screen now of a questionnaire, a simple questionnaire. Can we see the questionnaire? Can we see the questionnaire? Hello, Dr. Ajayi?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. This is a simple questionnaire. In most cases, your questionnaire will have demographic data. You have gender, you have age, you have qualification based on your agreement with your supervisor. So we call it socio-demographic data. So you are going to have gender, you are going to have age, you are going to have qualification, you are going to have religion, depending on your agreement with your supervisor. So I'm assuming that under our demographic data, we only have gender. So the same thing you do for gender is the same thing you are going to do for every other demographic data. Say age, say qualification, the same thing, it's the same process. So that is your section A. So you are going to have section B2 in your questionnaire, where you have scale. For each of the variables in your study, you have a number of questions that is raised that your respondents are to answer to capture that a particular variable. So I assume that, let's say, the first variable in your questionnaire is, in your study, is misconduct. Misconduct. So, and you have raised just 3 questions. You have raised just 3 questions. You can have as much as possible question in the questionnaire. So you will not have only 1 variable. You can have 10, you can have 6 variables, you can have 4, depending on what you are working on. So this is just a training. I only assume that you are working with a variable. Okay? I can assume that you are working with, let me say, 2 variables. Let me create another variable. Let's say employee performance scale. Employee what? Performance. Okay. Let's assume you have 5 questions for that. You have 5 questions for that one. So it depends on the way you design your questionnaire. So every question here will be relating to performance. Do you agree with me? Every question here will be relating to what? Performance.
Performance.
So I work very hard. I work very hard. I attend to my duty on time. I'm just assuming all these questions. Are you get what I'm saying now? I'm just assuming. So ditto, I'm just assuming. Let's say you have two items in the questionnaire, 2 variables, aside your demographic variable. So let's assume like that. So we now want to look at how to code this questionnaire.
We want to code it. Yes.
So this questionnaire is on 5 Likert scale. Strongly disagree, mutual agree, strongly agree. You can have other scales. You can have frequent, very high. It depends on anyhow you design your questionnaire, but you must be able to attach a value from the least to the what? To the highest. Are you getting what we are saying now? From the least to the highest. So you have to agree with the ranking with your supervisor.
Okay.
So some people believe that male will come first, 1. This one is 2. Whichever way you agree with your supervisor. So every variables you are working on, they must have their own scale. They must have their own rank. They must have their own rank. This is the rank.
Chapter 4.
Strongly disagree is 1. Disagree is 2. Can you see it now? Male is 1. Female is what? Is 2. So how are we going to code this questionnaire now? How are we going to code it? I'm going to demonstrate that now. So I'm going to open my SPSS software now. So I will share the screen. So I'm trying to open the SPSS software. I'm going to share the screen now. So if you have the software, you can go along with me. You can open the so the software is loading. It's loading. The software is loading. Just hold on for some minutes.
I attend to my duty. I went to my duty. I said, okay, I'm okay. Agreed. Strongly disagree. Disagree.
Can you see the screen now? Can you see the SPSS screen now? Yeah. So when you open your SPSS screen, this is the first thing you are going to see. This is the first page. This is the first page. Can you see it now?
Yes. Variable field, data view.
Can I go on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's the first thing you are going to see. So, and what we want to do first is to what? Is to code the information in our questionnaire. We want to code the information in our questionnaire. That is the first thing we want to do. In order to do that, all the procedures in the PowerPoint, you may not need to worry yourself. Let me share the screen of the PowerPoint so that you can be sure. Just give me some minutes. I think the number of documents. I'm trying to close some page.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Just hold on for some few minutes. So I am trying to share the PowerPoint screen. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to share the PowerPoint screen so that you can be sure that all the information are available. So we said to do this, click on the variable view at the bottom left corner. Enter the name of each of the demographic variables in your questionnaire under the first column name. For other variables in the questionnaire, use abbreviation EG. For misconduct, you use MS1. So the last question as the name for each question under misconduct. So all these guides are there is just to demonstrate and practicalize them so that you can be sure of how to go about it. So I will go back to the SPSS page. Can you see it? Can you see the SPSS page? Dr. Ajayi, please confirm that, sir. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you go to your variable view. Your variable view. The first variable in your questionnaire is gender. Abi?
Okay.
Under demographic data. So you type gender. Can you see it? Gender.
Yes.
Can you see gender? Assuming you have age too.
Yes.
You type in age. Can you see it?
Yes.
Can you see it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Assuming you have qualification too, you type in qualification. Can you see it?
Yes.
But one thing I want to point out to you here is that if what you want to type is not one word, for instance, you want to put date of birth or state of origin. Let's say state of origin. If you write state of origin and you include space, hello? If you include space, state of origin.
Yes.
Is an error. You cannot write something like that. It permits you to write only one word. If you are to write 2 or 3 words, you have to use underscore. You have to use what?
Underscore.
Underscore.
Can you see it? To join the words together. Can you see it?
Okay.
You can see there's no error message. There's no error message. let me remove the underscore. You will see error message now. Can you see it?
Hey.
Yeah.
Variable name contains illegal what? Illegal character. So I'm not able to change it with the space. So I just want you to learn that.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Dr. Ajayi, are you online?
Yes.
Okay. So that is the first thing you have to have at the back of your mind. So if you must write more than one word, you have to use underscore to join the words together. So it did not permit, under the name option, it does not permit several words. Can you see it? That is why most of the questionnaire items, most of the scales, we use abbreviation. You understand what I'm saying? Apart from socio-demographic data, such as age, gender, qualification, apart from all those ones, your core variables, you are going to use what? Abbreviation. Did you get that now? All your core variables, you are going to use abbreviation. So you have to be clear with that. So let me work with only these 3 variables. So I can clear this. I'll clear it. I'm working with 3 demographic what? Variables. So, and from the questionnaire, I have 2 core variables. What are the variables?
Misconduct.
Misconduct and what? Hello? Misconduct and employee performance. Those are the 2 variables from the questionnaire. So instead of writing misconduct, I will not write misconduct. That is my variables. I will deal with all the questions under what? Misconduct. All the questions.
Misconduct.
It's the questions I'm going to write. The first question, I will abbreviate it as misconduct is MS. Can you see it? MS. I've abbreviated. The first question is MS1. The second question is what? MS2.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yes.
MS2. The third question is MS3. It does not matter. You can use small letter.
Okay.
So I have only 3 questions under misconduct. Can you see it?
Yes.
Employee performance. I can abbreviate it as EP.
EP.
Okay.
Employee performance. How many questions did I have there?
5.
5. EP1. EP2.
5.
P3.
EP3.
P4.
EP4.
Yes.
And what?
PP5.
EP5. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Can you see it? So the first column, which is the name, that's how to deal with the first column.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
P5.
Is it clear? Is the first
what
column clear?
Yes. What is this that put 2, 2, 2, 2, or 2?
Yes. Yes.
Said
How come about those digits?
what?
Those numbers. How come
Those
about
numbers?
those decimals and widths?
Which
Under
number?
widths.
I'm still dealing with the first column.
Okay. Okay.
I will go over everything. You understand?
Right.
The first column.
Sir.
The second column, you don't have business there. It's just saying that it's telling you that all these things you are entering are then going to be numbers. or something else. And then numeric,
Okay.
so you don't have business there. Are you getting it now? This
Yes, sir.
Yes.
column is saying what is the size of the numbers. Is it more than 8 digits?
Okay.
Are there decimal in the number? More than 2 decimal?
Okay.
Are you getting it now? You don't have business in the second, third, and fourth column.
Okay.
You don't have anything to do there.
Okay.
Okay? The next column is label. Are you get what I'm saying? The label. The usefulness of the label is that it will allow you to go and,
Yes.
it will allow you to go and paste all the questions in full, the way you have
As
them
it
in your questionnaire. Are you getting now? I can paste
Yes.
gender here. I can paste age here. I can paste questionnaire here.
Yes.
MS1, what's the question under MS1? So I will go and copy the question in the questionnaire. The question 1 is, I will copy the question. This is the question in question 1. Worker resume early. Can you see it?
Yes.
So this allows you to paste all the information as it were in the questionnaire.
Okay.
Can you see it? Worker resume early to their duty. That is the first question. That is question 1 under misconduct.
Yes.
So I will paste all the questions. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay. I can copy them at once. I will paste them at once.
So we do copy and paste.
Just copy and paste. There's no big, you don't need to die. So that is all the 3 questions under misconduct. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, you go to employee performance, you go and copy all the questions.
Okay. The 5 questions.
All the 5 questions. Sorry?
Can we copy it at once and paste at once, or we copy one after the other?
Yes, you copy at once. I've copied them at once now. Can you see it? I paste all the one for employee performance at once. All the one for misconduct at once. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, this is where most people miss out. Can you see it?
The values.
The values column. This is where people miss out. So you have to pay attention here.
Okay.
So you click on this 3 dotted line. Can you see it?
Yes.
Gender. What are the value you give to them? What are the value? The first one is 1. And the label is male. Can you see it?
Yes.
The name is what?
Yes.
You have assigned 1 to male.
Yes. Female 2.
So you just add it. Why? Female is what?
2.
Female is what? 2. Can you see it? You add it.
2.
It now be 2.00.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
You have, as agreed by your supervisor, that you assign value to each of the options under each variable. Male 1, female 2. Qualification, for instance, primary school 1, secondary school 2, OND 3. Did you see it? You don't understand that now? Should I repeat this process?
It's clear, sir.
Okay, I should repeat it. I should come again.
Let's move forward.
Okay, we should move forward. So, okay.
It's clear.
For instance, let's say age, though age is not in the questionnaire. Age is not in the questionnaire. Let's say we have the first age. Let's say is 0 year to 5 years. Abi?
Yes.
Is 0 year to what? To 5
5
years. You can write it in full. You can abbreviate it. Let's say the first age in the questionnaire is 0 to what? To 5 years.
To 5 years.
Can you see it? Let's say the second age
Yes.
is 6 to 10 years. Abi? 6 to what?
Yes.
To 10 years.
10 years.
Let's say the third age and the last is 11 years to what? To 15 years. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
You just click on
Yes.
OK.
All right.
Qualification too, you do the same thing. Let's say qualification, you only have 3 qualifications, primary, secondary. Let's say you have only 2. One for primary, Abi?
Yes.
Primary
Yes.
school. 2 for secondary school.
Secondary.
You get it?
Yeah.
So you click on
Yes.
OK. It's as simple as this. So, is it not simple?
Simple, sir.
It's very simple. So when you go back to your questionnaire, the main item,
Yes.
what scale did you use for your misconduct? Is Lakers scale 5. Strongly disagree is 1, Abi? Did you remember it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
From
Yes.
agree.
1 is
Agree.
SD, Abi? 2
Agreed.
is D, Abi?
Is D.
3
Yes.
is neutral, N, right?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
4 is what?
Agree.
Agree. A.
Oh, is
And
agreed.
5 is what?
Strongly agree.
So you
Strongly
can
disagree.
strongly agree. So you can always be checking your questionnaire when you are doing it. You know, I'm used to it. That is why I'm able to get it offhand. Do you get what I'm saying now? Is it
Yes.
clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Hello?
It's
Can,
clear.
Hi.
can everybody confirm to me it's
You
clear?
can hear me now.
It's clear, sir.
It's clear. So we
clear.
click on OK. Since you are using the same scale for everything, you can copy it. Hello? You are using
Hi.
Yes.
your misconduct is the same thing, Abi. You paste it.
Yes.
It is possible that employee performance, the scale is different. So if it is different, you prepare that one too. But since it's the same scale we are using all through, you paste it here too. Can you see it?
Okay.
You can highlight everything and paste it at once. Can you see it? Is it clear?
Yes.
Is it clear?
It's clear.
Okay, if it is clear, that means I can proceed. I can proceed. So after
Yes, you
this,
can proceed.
we have presented all the information in the questionnaire. We have presented it at once. We have presented everything in the what? In SPSS. Are you getting it now? So the next thing you do is to go to your data view at the bottom. Can you see my cursor? Can you see my cursor?
Yes,
Go to
sir.
data view.
Yes.
Can you see what you have entered? Gender, age,
Gender.
qualification, MS1, MS2, MS3. Can you see everything?
P5. Yes.
Okay? These are all the informations you have entered. Now, don't forget, let's say the number of respondents you study is 20. Let's say the number of respondents you study is 20. Are you getting now?
Yes.
All the information in the first questionnaire will be here.
Okay.
The first questionnaire for the first person. All the informations will be here for the first person. The second person information will be here. The third person information will be here. The first to the 20th person. Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
So let's assume that the first person is a male based on the questionnaire you have retrieved in your hand. Is a male. That male is one, Abi.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's say the person is between 10 to 15 years of age. That is still Abi.
Yes.
All this information is already filled in your questionnaire. You are getting it from the questionnaire, Abi.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it clear? Let's say the qualification, you know, you have two options, primary or secondary, Abi. Let's say it's secondary, 2. Abi?
Yes.
Let's say the person strongly agrees. That is 5. Is that not?
Yes.
Strongly agree, 5. Abi?
It
For
is.
the first question,
Yes.
the person strongly agreed to the first question. That is 5. You don't get it now?
Yes.
Say the second question, the person was neutral. That is 3. It was neutral. Let's say the person agreed 4. So the third question, to the question on employee performance, the first one. Let's say the person strongly disagreed. That is 1. Abi?
Yes.
Let's say the person disagreed 2. Are you following?
Yes.
Let's say to the question 3, the person strongly agreed 5. To the question 4, the person disagreed. What is disagree? 2. Let's assume that the person is neutral. That is what? 3. Can you see it?
Yes,
So we have dealt with the first questionnaire in our hand, so we can discard it, except you want to use it for reference purpose. So you may not need to discard it.
Supposed to be 3.00. So it's standing as 3. What?
It's automatic. It's automatic. When I click on another cell, it will automatically enter it.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It will appear.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? So you have to extract the information in the other questionnaire the same way. Is it clear? If you pick the second questionnaire now, you also enter the same. Let's assume the person is a female.
Yes, 2.
It's a female. That is 2. Abi? Let's assume the person is middle age. That is between 6 to 10. That is 2. Abi?
Yes.
Let's say the qualification is primary. That is 1.
Yes.
1.
Let's say the person agree. That is what? Agree.
4.
That is 4. Let's say the person strongly agree here. Yeah, that is 5. Let's say the person do what? Yeah. Neutral. That is 3.
3. Yes.
Abi?
Yes.
Neutral. Yes.
Let's assume the person for employee performance. Let's assume the person is neutral 3. Let's assume the person is disagree. That is 2.
Yes.
Strongly disagree. That is 1. Strongly disagree again. That is 1. Let's say neutral here. Okay. Let's say
3.
4. Let's say disagree. So you repeat it for all the questionnaire you have used. So not to waste our time, not to waste our time, I think you understand the procedure now.
Yes.
But this, the last one, under that EP5, we are having 4 digits. Why? Others are 3. What is happening? How come about the additional 0?
Okay, 3 digits. It's automatic.
Okay.
You don't need to
Under that,
bother yourself. You don't need
is
to
it
bother.
under the column alone?
Under the column, it's automatic. I don't know why. Okay, it depends on the value you have assigned for each question.
Okay.
So it's automatic. You know, if you go back to your variable view, we did not change anything here. We did not change anything here. We did not change anything. It's automatic. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
So we don't want to waste our time. So you are going to repeat the same procedure. So we just copy and paste. Are we getting it now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So let's assume you have worked with 20 respondents. 20 respondents. Is it clear?
Yes.
You have worked with 20 respondents.
Respondent.
So these are all their information. So you don't need the questionnaire again. So you can just save this one as your worksheet. You can save it, you can Ctrl+S and save it in any location you want. If you Ctrl+S, you just select the location up here. Let's say I want it to be my desktop. You don't need to change anything, just save it. Did you see it now? I've been able to save the worksheet. So you don't need to save any output, just cancel. You have to cancel this. You have to say no here. We are not saving output. We only save data.
Okay, data.
When you Ctrl+S.
Ctrl+S.
Okay, let me try and resave it.
Okay. Let's see. Can procedure save?
That is file, save as. So if I want to save it, let's say I want to save this one in my document.
Okay.
So I'll just pick save here. So
Filing.
another dialog box, just cancel that one.
Okay.
Cancel it. Save content of output viewer to output 2. We don't have output yet. So we are not saving any output. You say no here.
Okay.
So this is our information to work with. So I will go back to our PowerPoint, the PowerPoint we are working with. So we have been able to code our data from questionnaire. We have been able to code it.
Yes.
Yes.
So is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So the next thing to do is to how to input values. We have input value for all the demographic variable and all the questions. We have done that. So we can move to the next slide.
Yes.
So the next thing to do is to name our variables. Don't forget, we have not named any of the variables. We only have questions. We don't have misconduct. We only have questions under misconduct. Is that clear?
Yes.
We don't have employee performance. We only have questions under employee performance. So we have to make sure that we combine all these questions as one.
Okay.
As one variable. Because they are one variable in our study. The idea of having many questions is to be able to tweak our respondents to supply the information accordingly. So we are repeating